Please note that the following views and the opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily the views nor the opinions of the Master Force Group, YouTube.com, Free America Radio Network, our sponsors, our partners, and MFG is a private society. Nothing here is ever to be construed as hate, medical, nor legal advice. And listen to the Forbidden History prime time 7 days a week right here on the realpublicradio.net, because hidden beneath the sands of time lies the greatest of all mysteries. It's the Forbidden History. Unearth for yourself the secret truths that lie hidden just beneath the surface below our feet. What is it that the powers that be do not want you or I to know? Come and journey with us as we explore and dare to know, because it's all right here, coming your way 7 days a week on the realpublicradio.net, Free America Radio Network. It's what they didn't want you to know that we tell right here. Stand by for the broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. Still time to call a friend. And thank you for that audio check, David. And Chi, good to have you. And Jennifer, stand by. We'll be right back.
The missing dimension in world politics is the spiritual dimension. The problems of life cannot be solved by material means. Modern civilization is missing the point of life. Human life is meant for understanding spiritual values. Real knowledge is knowing yourself, what you are, what God is, and understanding your relationship and duty to God. It is our duty to understand God, abide by His laws, and learn to love Him. Then all of our problems will be solved. When men are not governed by God, they will be ruled by tyrants. The material world is just like a prison. The spirit soul is imprisoned in a material body which is imprisoned in the material world. We do not belong in this material world. We are spirit souls and belong to the spiritual world. Modern civilization is wrongly directed to the fulfillment of sense gratification, the basis of material life and a barrier to spiritual realization. The demonic believe that the enjoyment of the senses is the ultimate goal of life. However, it is not possible to become peaceful and happy in the attempt to gratify the temporary senses. The result is usually the opposite. A materialistic culture based on sense gratification agitates the mind and senses. Unless one controls the mind and senses, one cannot make any spiritual advancement. The great sages of all bona fide religions were completely free of material attachments, because they knew that spirit is permanent while matter is temporary. Our present culture would have us debase ourselves and become more and more entangled in materialism, so that the path to the spiritual world is blocked. The demonic wish to make this planet a closed system, where it cannot function for the purpose it was intended. The material world was created to give man the opportunity to purify himself of his material consciousness, for the aim of life is to go back home, back to God. The demonic cannot go back home until they rid themselves of their demonic mentality, and so they wish to make it impossible for anyone else to return home. This is the ultimate goal of psychological warfare: to entangle man in materialism so that he cannot return home, back to the Supreme Lord. Mind control in America. Break it.
And welcome to the broadcast, ladies and gentlemen, Forbidden History Live. Ask Dezert-Owl on the Original Thought Transliteration Project, OTTP. And welcome and thank you for your patience. That was it's been a an interesting week. Literally, I was shut down from being able to do any transliterating for about 3 days, and wasn't sure I was going to get my computer back. And but miracles happen thanks to the help of Ninja. She was a big help in. We worked it out together. Going. I don't want to get into the story, but through the Microsoft merry-go-round, and and you can't get anybody live at these places, and so you really got to figure it out. I was getting ready to get a tech, and then on the third day we had our miracle, and so we're back, and I accepted everything being over. That's why that's the attitude you're going to have. Such a great opener by Stephen. I'm always amazed at his perfection in his art of conveying the message, and nobody could ever say it better in 3 minutes. Really, it's all there, and so I was willing to to say, okay, that's it, it's over, and I'm going to just start reading my books again. That's all I got left, just read, and but I knew though the truth, and that is that the Father above, he this is his project, and he's not done with it yet. And so he, got us back on. He put us at the right place, at the right spot to see what we needed to do. And he kept giving me signs along the way. That was funny because I kept telling Ninja about it, that, he's Heavenly Father's telling us, just, hang in there. The secret, ladies and gentlemen, is hanging in there. We've been programmed to want everything instantly, need it, want it now, right? Got to have it now. But in the great architect's realm, he literally, contrary to what the Vatican wanted us to think, that the world, in their propaganda, the world was, in their translations, the world was made in 6 24-hour periods. That's because the Heavenly Father was in a hurry. He had to go somewhere, so he had to do it real quick. But the truth is, as Ian Zell Lungold pointed out with another friend, that a scientist, they both figured out the Mayan calendar, and it coincides perfectly with actually our scriptures, because as we find in Fenton, that it wasn't 6 days, but it was 6 periods. 6 periods, and peri means great. Okay, peri and yud means an age, so 6 periods, they were great ages, and actually it's the 6 billion years, as it's been well pointed out, through the scientific evidence. that the Earth is probably at least 3.5 billion years old. It's a child of the sun, comes out of the sun, and one of these days, real soon, we'll be starting at the beginning, and we'll tell how it all unfolded. Because everything coming our way, ladies and gentlemen, is propaganda. And unless you've had a revelation, unless you figured something out on your own, then you have originated nothing within your mind. Nothing. Everything you follow, everything you think is what has been programmed into you. Okay? In other words, you do not think for yourself. To be ignorant is to ignore the obvious. Ignorant. So in other words, it's not stupid, it's just ignoring. And that would be tragic, to ignore. Just like when you just look out, I have that my desktop, I have all of those buttes and bluffs from New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, one of those areas. It's one of those Midwest desert scenes, not Midwest, the further west. And like, where did the dirt go? You got all of these buttes, but all that dirt washed away. And it took millions and millions and millions of years to wear down all of that material. And then we got oceans, that are as high as the Himalayan mountains, oceans, bottoms of the ocean, all the way up at 20,000 feet, where they harvest Himalayan salt, and it's my favorite salt, Himalayan salt, and they get it from 20,000 feet. It's the bottom of an ocean, and so literally people cannot process, they can't even go there because they have to have that instant. Oh no, it was done instantly. Well, wait a minute. In my book, the fact that the Heavenly Father has been through Yeshua has been orchestrating and evolving the creation. We didn't evolve. Okay, that's another story. But nature evolved. You see, it goes through a process of development, and in that process, Ninja, do you have that Earth? Do you have the picture of the sun giving birth to the planet without the audio on it? We might as well go there if you got it. It's not uploaded. It's not on. Oh, all right. No, we'll do it another time. That's okay. I thought it would have been uploaded. But we'll do it. Well, that's all right. We'll do it on another time when we do the presentation. We're going to do how it all began with the light. Our corrupted version says, in the beginning the earth was void, but it wasn't. Oh, geez, I'm going to have to get my King James out now. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm just going to give you the quick analysis to show you how they've corrupted our translations, and it's okay. The Heavenly Father, they didn't play a trick on him. He knew they were going to do this. He tells us actually in the stories, like with Solomon, when he wanted to cut the baby in half. Remember when he wanted to cut the baby in half? That's because he was showing us. He was showing us that the false mother takes over the baby, right? That's what the true mother said. Don't cut the baby in half. Give it to the false mother in order to preserve its life. You see? And that's what has happened. The false mother, the occultic, Luciferian witch and whore, has taken over the virgin light of truth. And so everything comes to us in a corrupted form, but then we wake up and we come to the surface and we can breathe, you see? And so it's waking up to the game that's been played on us. So in the beginning, the Elohim, correctly here, but it says God, created the heaven and the earth. So that's the tip off of what this is going to be about. Verse 2, and the earth was without form and void. You see, now there's the trick art, because it should read actually, and not that the earth was without form, it should say the earth was not yet formed, not here. And the earth was not yet formed and void, no, within the void. So instead of, and the earth was without form and void, it should say, and the earth was not yet formed within the void. The void of what? Space. The earth was not yet formed. Okay? And so you know, ladies and gentlemen, do you like being lied to? If you ever been married, like I was, and had somebody lying to you all the time, you get really tired of it, and it wears on you. But people, they will die for their King James. They'll die for it. Hey, don't mess with my King James, man. You know, and yet they've never been able to have a vision, revelation, interpretation, or to be able to say anything but other Jesus loves you. Yes, I know, for the Bible tells me so, and that's all I know, and that's all I need to know, and I don't want to know anything else. And but yet we're supposed to be enlightened, enlightened, meaning like a light bulb went off, and somehow we have been altered or changed in the process. Enhanced is maybe the better word, enhanced, because we're going somewhere. But if we're not able to interpret and able to get a revelation and interpret the symbol or the metaphor or the Ace of Wars or the Schultres, but do you remember what those words are? Oh, they're not words, actually, but that's okay. They are Ace of Wars are the correct for logo, because logo is what this program is going to be about. If I can get to it today, because I want to do a special, actually, for the last few days since I got back my computer. And prior, when we were ramping up, and then all of it, we were going to do 7 days a week, and then I realized, well, I didn't do my translation for like 10 days, and so it's hard to have the proper juggling act here, and I don't know the formula yet, so I'm still working on it. But we are here 7 days because all the old programs can be listened to. Like we have 4 channels of several hundred programs, I guess. And so do check them out when you need the fix. We covered a lot of ground. We're just repeating a lot of it, but a lot of it is new as well. New discovery in the Ace of Wars, in the words, in the Schultres, the scriptures. And so. But what I want to do today, I've got a couple samples of. I'm going to have to do a mini dictionary. I'm settled on it now because I started doing my mini dictionary. I have to add some of the words I've been discovering in one of the books because I'm getting so many of them on 3x5 cards. So I'm updating a second edition of the mini dictionary, which will be available anytime you want to get it. But the second edition will be 30 days. I'm doing 2 important definitions a day, and then in 30 days we'll have 60 new important words in there, some of my latest discoveries, and then it'll be available commercially on Amazon and LULU and KOBO. Okay, and also through PDF. Anybody wants anything, we've got like couple hundred books literally on PDF, not to mention all the 30 plus books and translations I now have on Amazon. It's available. If you can't afford it, don't worry about it. Give me a call on the side. Hey, I'm user friendly, okay? And just call me and tell me what you want, or email me. We have all that information posted on the program. Ninja puts it in the chat periodically, okay? So we're here. We want to get the information out. We're willing to give it away. We're not selling anything here. Our world is crashing. Did you hear Dane Wigington yesterday? Well, we'll do a little clip of Dane's special. He did a special 10 days ago, and it's important to revisit because it will prove out that what's happening. They've been always planning it for decades, and even hundreds of years cycles. The 500-year cycle of the Phoenix is one of those cycles. America was discovered 500 years ago by the phony discovery of the Christopher Columbus, Columbia, 2 columns. Isn't that interesting? The 2 columns of the christening of fire. Well, that's what they used to do when they passed the babies through the fire. It was between the columns. Isn't that interesting that Christopher Columbus has the name of what the occultic were doing in the East that the LYGHT condemned? Rather interesting, isn't it? So anyway, we're going to do the read. Dane is coming up in a bit. We're going to do a read after we do the cursed words. So what I was saying was I'm going to have to now do a mini dictionary on cursed words because I got 4 of them that I'm going to share with you real quick before we get into the reading of the Gospel of the Nazarenes. I'm up to chapter 6 now, and literally, wow! I got to tell you, I had a real experience yesterday, and in doing it, because when I read the Gospel of the Nazarenes, I've read it twice now through, and 2 different versions. Okay, and because there's 3 out there, they're almost identical, but each translator did it differently, and but even when I read in there, that Yeshua was married at age 18. Normally they get married at age 14, right? But he went to India. Ravana took him from Jerusalem to India, southern India. Ravana was a wealthy prince, and he became the patron of Yeshua. This is in the Aquarian Gospel. So what's amazing was when I knew this story in the Aquarian Gospel, then I had this parallel story looking at me in the Gospel of the Nazarenes. Now that's called 2 witnesses. You've got 2 totally independent Gospels, and both of them are saying that Yeshua went to India. And not to mention, I've got the Gospel of the Silk Road that I retranslated, compared several versions, and also in there says he went to India, and the mini Gospel. I think you'd even mentioned it in there. So there's like 4 Gospels. Maybe that's the reason they hid these Gospels from us, because they didn't want us to know that Yeshua had a life. And not only did he have a life, but he actually had a wife. It's not Mary Magdalene, though. That's not even her name. It's Mary from Magdala, which means the center of idolatry, and so the occultic world were married to the idolatry of the columns that we were just mentioning. But so anyway, so the point is, something happened to his wife shortly after getting married, and as we read some of the other lost writings, we find out that Yeshua was supposed to experience all the things that we experienced, so that he could have compassion and sympathy towards our own suffering, towards our own dilemmas, right? And so wouldn't it make sense then that he married the love of his life, and then she shortly dies after they're married, and he couldn't help her, right? He couldn't help her. And so this is part of the story. I'm not going to that's the cliffhanger. I'm not giving any more till I read it. Okay, but that's coming up. And it's because I wasn't convinced, I take a lot of convincing, on certain things. And when I read it in the Gospel of the Nazarene for the first time, I didn't know how to deal with that. I said, wait a minute, what? Yeshua was married at age 18? Because see, when I read the Aquarian, it gives me the impression he went to India and was there for like 7 years or even maybe longer. And then, but now when I had these 2 back-to-back versions to compare, you had to put that orange up there. Okay. Anyway, I hate those bolds they put on those channels. You could delete it and maybe do it differently. Just put archive there. You put the whole name and it just does that highlight, Ninja. Anyway, yeah, it's an obstruction. Why don't you? I hate when they do that. So yeah, I'm trying to focus, on a presentation. That's all right. That's all right. I'm just mentioning it. And so anyway, so after now then doing the comparison of 3 different versions of the Gospel of the Nazarene, and they all have it in there. And then by comparing it with the Aquarian Gospel, which is the big one, that's the original Gospel. It's the Q source, because it's 182 chapters. 182 chapters. And so by comparing them, I now can see it. I can now see it. This is like, every time I think I've been through all the, the writings and I got the picture, then all of a sudden it becomes more clear. And so literally he went to India twice. And the second time was because of what happened to his wife, you see? And so you're going to hear it here first. Okay, probably maybe the first time on any broadcast out there. But I was so ecstatic because when I couldn't wrap my mind around it, knowing all that I know about the scriptures and been collecting them all my life, I wasn't ready just immediately offhand to accept it. How can I? Where does it come from? What, when, and so, but now I know. Okay, now I know. And so you're going to be hearing the perfected gospel of the Nazarene, because all of the translators, even though, their work is important, I saw how many of the things they were translating were not clear, obscure, and therefore needed clarification, because I knew so much of the history that therefore I could say it in a slightly better fashion with the right proper verbiage, not changing the document, but just saying it the way it really is. You see, that's important, rather than being vague and then the reader, when he comes by and reads it, he doesn't really get it, you know, because I got it, I get it. And because I get it, I have to say it correctly. Otherwise, I'm not doing my job. And I'm, even the scripture says that a shulfar, which is the original word for scribe, is like somebody that has a treasure chest, and out of the treasure chest he brings out the things that are old and he makes them like new. There's several ways to interpret that's shultre, that scripture, but that's basically it. Because when a shulfar or a translator is bringing these old things out of the box, out of the dust, at the same time, a lot of the things will sound new because I'm bringing forth a terminology that you've not heard before, and yet it belongs to our tradition, like Eshavor or Eshan or Shultres, all these different terms that you're hearing here for the first time, but they are the terminologies that they were speaking in the ancient, brought forth in the modern to create a picture, because pictures of nature were the reference points. Okay, and so I helped somebody out there see a little more clearly, especially if you're a new listener, to what this science is all about, because it's a deep science. But the beauty is, once you realize that they took the ancient and brought it all the way forward to our modern time through what we call the English, the anglers, the hookers, they get everybody on the hook because they control the narrative and they control the Eshavors, the words, and they've corrupted them. When we come back from Dane, we're going to show you 4 words. One comes out of Babylon directly, one comes out of the Vatican directly, and the other 2 probably come out of the Vatican as well. But I'm going to define for you the word El, the word blessed, which we did already on the other program, but it'll just be a refresher. And then studied and families. And wait to hear the subliminal meaning in each of these. And there's so much more, but I just want to give a little example. Okay, so glad you tuned in. I hope you're telling your friends about the broadcast. I know that we've got a lot, many more listeners that have been coming into the broadcast. We can see by the numbers on the board. And, I'm here to serve. And therefore, anybody that's trying to figure something out, hey, you can call in as well. It's 608-566-7295, 608-566-7295. And that is, during the program or after. Okay. And we'll try to save general questions for the end. But if it's specific to what I'm talking about right there, when I'm doing the read or talking about a word, then call in. Okay. And also on Skype, Free America Radio. Free America Radio, all one word. You just call in. Apparently, you don't have to ask to be accepted as a Skype buddy or whatever they call it, but you can call right in. And that we figured that out with Chi, who's listening in over there in Denmark. Chi, good to have you. And he's been really, really having an experience hearing a lot of these things that he's not heard before. Comes from a tough environment from Vietnam during the Great War that was over there, and survived all that. Unfortunately, many of his family did not. But so we're grateful to have him. He's been a great enthusiast, and he keeps me going. Because a few people are getting it. Very, very few, and that's okay, because we're not nobody. I don't want to say this. Say there, Chi. that, this is not meant for the many. As it says in our scriptures, that few are going to be saved. So I don't ever expect, and I'm not looking for a big, broadcast of any sort. What I want to do is help out my friends, that the few people that are here, basically are friends. They're people that I've come to know, and here in America and abroad, and we're going to try to help them out on the journey. That's all we can do here, is help a few friends. And then they're going to pull the plug. And so before they pull the plug, let's talk about important issues, and let's unravel the great mystery of how they have deceived us, pulled the wool over our eye, and how that King James Version came out of the city of London, with Lords of London by the Swiss, Maitzorim, giving us the Masoretic text. It's all an open secret. There is no secret, but nobody knows how to read or listen or interpret or do research. So when we get back, we'll continue on, ladies and gentlemen. Glad you tuned in. Still time to call your friends. Don't forget, I'm Desert-Owl, and bringing it on because nobody else is. There's a lot of good researchers out there, but nobody is bringing forward the Indo-Germanic. What is so important, and what we're speaking today, they wanted us stuck in the Hebrew and the Greek, and we get past it and go past it 5,000 years to what was breathed into Hadam. Stand by for the broadcast. We'll be right back. Let's hear from Dane.
Lake Mead, the largest reservoir in the U.S., is drying up by the day. So is Lake Powell, the second largest U.S. reservoir, and countless other sources of water around the world the same. Other lakes and waterways are being hit with biblical level flooding. Both conditions are hallmarks of climate intervention operations, which are very visible in this image of the skies above Lake Mead. Question: would covert global climate engineering operations known as geoengineering, solar radiation management, and cloud albedo enhancement cause unprecedented drought conditions like those now being endured in the U.S. West, in Las Vegas, and Lake Mead watersheds? All available climate science data makes clear the answer is yes. Geoengineering causes drought. Next question: how did the builders of the Lake Mead dead pool drain know 20 years in advance that the western U.S. megadrought was coming? I'll examine that question more closely in a moment. Lake Mead's third intake set the world record for the deepest subaqueous tunnel while working against up to 15 atmospheres of pressure due to the extreme depth of the tunnel. The Deep Strata Lake Mead Drain Project posed extreme dangers while utilizing the latest underwater blasting technologies to help complete the 15,200-foot-long megatunnel designed to drain every last drop from Lake Mead. The most modern tunnel boring technology was incorporated into the hybrid tunnel boring machine that was specifically manufactured for this project of total desperation. The tunnel borer operated under conditions never before achieved by this type of technology. 90% of Las Vegas's water comes from Lake Mead. Keep that in mind. The ultimate objective of this mega project that had a reported final cost of $1.5 billion is to keep the Las Vegas party going till the last possible moment, to avoid panicking populations all over the world when a city of over 2 million overall residents and visitors virtually implodes. Question: where did the massive amount of funding actually come from? Who gave Las Vegas the right to the last lifeblood of a rapidly drying and dying Lake Mead? What happens to all the downstream dependence of Lake Mead water when it no longer flows? That blank isn't hard to fill in, and that day draws very, very near. Many other cities will follow in the path of Las Vegas due to countless forms of environmental implosion, with climate intervention operations further fueling all of it. Once the dominoes begin to fall, the equation will accelerate exponentially. And keep this in mind: once the majority of global populations realize that the party is over, that none of it was even remotely sustainable, that the reckoning is here, the law of the jungle will prevail at blinding speed. Those in power are acutely aware of what will unfold when the water stops flowing and simultaneously food production collapses. What's the single greatest drought-causing factor in this equation? Covert climate engineering operations. They have systematically derailed global precipitation patterns. In 2011, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration admitted that atmospheric particle pollution had almost doubled in the decade before 2011, which, for the record, takes the timeline back to just before Lake Mead's first frightening water level drop in 2002. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration claims excessive atmospheric aerosols offset a percentage of global warming, which is the stated goal of solar radiation management operations. Also, for the record, excessive atmospheric aerosol particle pollution causes drought. Period. Though precipitation in the U.S. West has fluctuated to a degree since that time, the overall trend has been consistent: drier and hotter. The cutting off of precipitation to the western U.S. isn't an act of nature. It's the direct result of illegal and unimaginably destructive geoengineering programs. This isn't a denial of the unfolding planetary meltdown due to countless forms of destructive human activities, which climate engineering is making far worse, overall, not better. But, again, the drought-causing impacts of climate intervention operations are well documented and not scientifically disputed. The atmosphere can hold 7% more moisture for every degree C of warming. Unfiltered frontline data indicates that we are likely past 3.5 degrees C of warming now. Prior to the year 2000, climate precipitation modeling forecasted the greatest overall increase in precipitation for the United States in the western U.S., again, due to the rapid warming of the region and its geographic location east of the Pacific Ocean. What happened? What went wrong? What happened to the rain? Short answer: climate intervention operations. We can speculate about the agendas and objectives in play, but the fact that climate engineering programs are cutting off precipitation from the U.S. West is beyond dispute. Satellite imagery proves beyond any reasonable doubt that climate engineering is radically diminishing and dispersing rain from the western U.S. and many other parts of the world, while other regions are deluged with the stolen and diverted precipitation. The fight to expose and halt climate engineering is nothing short of a fight against weather warfare, nothing short of a fight for life. Please help geoengineeringwatch.org to sound the alarm. Share credible data from a credible source. Make every day count. Time is not on our side. This is Dane Wigington from geoengineeringwatch.org.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Ask Dezert-Owl on Forbidden History Live, the series on the original Thought Transliteration Project. And hope everyone's doing well out there. A lot of stress going on because people know we're going to hit the wall. Thank you, Dane Wigington. Go to Dane Wigington's website, geoengineeringwatch.org, ladies and gentlemen, and support a real, I don't want to say real American, but I don't think we want to be a real American. No, I think we're past all that now. We figured it out. The game on us, just like right here on my below the chat on my YouTube screen. You know how they offer other videos to watch, right? So the one right at the top of the listing below the chat on my screen says, "How should the Constitution be interpreted?" Who decides? Oh, well, let's see. Wait a minute. I think the Constitution is a red herring. I think the Constitution is irrelevant. And but they want us debating, talking about the Constitution this, the Constitution that, Constitution gives me a lot of constipation when I realize that if you take off the last letter N on Constitution, letter N, which means that which came down, what came down from way back then, because Constitutio without the N at the end, Constitutio means it's an imperial decree, and it makes you want to cry. The decree make you want to cry because a constitution, what part of a con don't we get? You see, it's the institution of a con because it's only there to be given lip service, not real. I had an organization last century, United Truckers, defending the Constitution. And in that process is when I discovered that the Constitution was a red herring and it was all a charade. They give it lip service, but it has nothing to do with that imperial government, which is the banking institution, Federal Reserve, Jewish banking, right? They're the owners, they're the controllers, they're the government. And what we see in Washington, D.C. is a puppet show. It's to keep you entertained and hope you never get the picture, ladies and gentlemen, you see. So anyway, I thought that was worth mentioning because it's right there. But now we're going to have to do a screen share, Ninja, and bring on the cursed words. Okay, I've got the name of the next dictionary I'll do. I'm going to go grab all the cursed words I've got in the other dictionaries and the ones I have on notes, and we're going to put it all together and just show it in one collage of sickening morbidity, you know. And so let me open up Skype and close that. Go to share screen. Start sharing, and let me go to the document. Okay, you're not going to minimize now, right? All right. Boom. What do you mean catch up? Oh yeah, well take your time. Just let me know when you got it on screen. Okay. All right. All right. She's juggling. I'm juggling. Stand by, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, here we go. Got there. Boom. All right. So it's on screen, and let me know when I'm good to go, Ninja. Okay. And well, it's an amazing world to work up in a sci-fi movie, ladies and gentlemen. Is it not? Just you know, perpetual war. Uh-huh. Good. Well, if you see it, that's all I need to say. I don't need to wait for it to come up on my end. Just when is it on your end? All right. So, okay. So here we are. Alphabet, the seeds of light, ladies and gentlemen, letter A. We're going to get back into the presentation of the alphabet, but with 6 chapters now on the Gospel of the Nazarene, I wanted to keep it updated. As I do the translation, I want to share it with you because it's a translation that nobody's heard before, basically. And so you're going to hear parts of the gospel. That's a cursed word. Gospel, go spell. I'm going to have to put that on my list. And let me write it down so I don't forget. Okay. Yeah, we'll get back to the ABCeedz of light in the next broadcast. And if I'm putting the definition of logo part 2 that we did on the last broadcast at the end, because if I run out of steam after the read, I just want to make sure I get this read out because it's so exciting, you know, and I've not read it before. I'll be reading it with you for the first time. So the logo, ABCeedz of light, follow at least by the next broadcast, if not part of it on this broadcast. Okay. And but we're, you know, A Shavors, they're mysteries, ladies and gentlemen, and they've changed everything on us. They've lied to us. Oh, they wouldn't do that. They love us. Come on. Men who wear black, right? But go think about priesthoods, right? They wear black. I thought they were supposed to be wearing white robes. That's interesting. So anyway, let's go elevator down. Elevator down. Elevator. Come on. Come on. You gonna do it? All right. Oh, come on. You okay? What's going on here? All right. Thank you. Elevator down. And all of this stuff, look at that. Okay, on the back of the priest, right? We got a bull with wings on it. I mean, come on, it was supposed to be, what? I thought it was supposed to be a lamb. But they're the bulls. They're full of bull. They give you the papal bull. And the bull's got wings on it and a halo around its head. Go figure, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, are these guys funny or what? How about that Ratzinger? Didn't that guy look pathetic? Ratzinger. He looked like the most evil guy ever to put on a serpent hat. We'll call it a mitre, a serpent hat. Most people think it's a fish hat. It's not. It's a serpent. And we've talked about that here. In fact, was that the serpent right there? What was that? Oh, serpent eating his tail, 0. Okay, quick quiz question for you, Ninja. You see the circle? Oh, you have to do that? No, no, that's all right. Never mind. We'll save the question. How, well, you're supposed to be good to jump in on the broadcast. How come you can't do that? Oh, because you got it up. You got the screen up. No, 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 no. Just forget it. I don't want to extend the program. I thought you could do it real quick. All right. No, it's too late. I'm past it. All right. All right. Well, you know, this is a live broadcast. You got to be ready. Jane on the spot. Click the button. Yes. What can I do for you? You know, like that. But you know, anyway, I'm sorry. Just wait. She had to lower the screen and tell me about it instead of just doing it. All right. Next time. Next time, be quick. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, cursed words. So the first cursed word, you've heard me talk about the difference between this word, okay, the Zool, as in Zool, Tzool, Lovehaym, Zool of Haim, which is the original. The T is silent. Notice there's a silent cross there. Isn't that interesting? It represents Yeshua in creation. At the beginning, it's at the beginning of a word, it's silent. It's that with the power letter Z, the TZ is the, you know, the Zor. And that's where you see the word jury, by the way. Jury, is that J is a corruption that put there by the Jews, of course, right? And it's a TZ, and it's the Zoreh. The Zoreh is the soaring light. That's what the original word for jury, the soaring light. You see, they're looking, they can see, they're listening to everybody, and they can see a liar when he's speaking, you know. And they got the Zoreh because they got focused. They're there to hear it out, you know. But and so anyway, so what replaced the Zul of Haim when they came back from Babylon is Elohim, okay? And so the word Zul was replaced, and it was replaced by El. And so let's see if we can't figure something out about this word El. Oh, we see it. We can first see it in the word Ankel. But oh, wait a minute. There's some trick art. There's some psychological warfare going on because it's pronounced Ankel, but it's spelled wrong, right? It should be Ankel, right? And so, so what is an ankle? Well, there it is right here. Look at that. It's right in the word, right? It's the L. We'll put that one back, and we'll just put it right here. There's the L. And so what does L represent? It's angle. Oh, look at, they reversed the EL again, right? It's EL. Aren't they tricksters, huh? I mean, wow, they must have worked overtime to figure all this stuff out, right? The angel, there's the word angel, but the angel, if you look in the Middle English Dictionary or in the Latin dictionary I've got from about 1812, that says to see the English. Oh, the angel Saxons. Okay. So you see, because they replaced the word Malek, which means royal messenger, the mother's tongue, and they didn't want us to have the mother's tongue, and that's what I'm bringing to you today, the mother's tongue, and they wanted you to have Saxons, you know, and they want you on the hook, the angler, you're a hooker, angler, okay, angler, put the R on there, R, right, angler, and so we then find out that the L is an angle. So it doesn't look straight to me, does it? No, it's not straight. It's a crooked. It's got a hook. It's got a bend. And so what does therefore, where's my words here? Okay, so this is the meaning. Now I'm going to give you the actual literal meaning of the word L. Okay, so L raining outside. I hope we don't lose power over here. Okay, so how about that? Just like in the word elbow. You see, are you getting the picture? Ladies and gentlemen, so elbow literally means or the bend. You see? And so there it is. Okay, I'm giving you the prima facie evidence because the words are speaking. The words are speaking, and so it's all right there. All right, so let me ask you then: do you smell something rotten in Denmark? Forgive me, Chi, but he was the one who mentioned it the other day. He knows there's something rotten in Denmark with those Jesuit Jews. Okay, because it's clear that it's about a break. It's about a break. It's about a bend, and a bow is also to bow, right? You're bowing down, you're bending over, and bowing, right? Interesting term for the Boeing 747 too, right? But anyway, so the bend, see, so it's all there. And so what was Zool? Zool, on contrast, right, literally means the power of the A or the I. Okay, so you got a choice. You can either be bent over, broken, and bowed to their will, their occultic will, or you can be have the power of vision, like we were talking about at the beginning. To ignore doesn't mean to be stupid. It just means you're ignorant, you're ignoring, and we have to be able to see things clearly. But when you're not working at it, when you're not studying it, when nobody's talking about it, and you're therefore it's a lot easier to ignore, right? Because it's not even being presented to you. But now I've given you a real problem, because the problem is you can then go home and pretend you've never seen this before, and to say, well, they wouldn't lie to me, and continue with your King James Masoretic, meaning Jesuit, meaning Rothschild banking translation, that they wanted to deceive you. What did Stephen say at the beginning? That these people have made it so that we cannot go home, ladies and gentlemen, and to be enlightened is to be set free from them. Okay, not under their control, the mind control. So let's look at another word. We talked about the word blessed. I guess we didn't do it here. It was in my reading. We did it while I was reading, so it's not here. So for the benefit of anybody new, we'll do the word blessed real quick. I think we'll go to Carl Klang next, Ninja, since you set that one up, and it's appropriate with this mind control that we're talking about, right? That'll be a good one. Some of the friends haven't probably seen that one yet, so we'll do Carl Klang's a real troubadour of patriotism in America, who's was heavily depressed, and but that's sometimes what makes you a genius, and he is a musical genius. I don't know if Carl's with us anymore, but anyway, let me take that one away. And now we're looking at blessed. Oh, there's the thunder now. Okay, so if we get clipped, you'll know what happened, and we could possibly do a part two. we'll just play it by ear and see what happens. But it's kind of nice. It's not the heavy rain. It's just nice drizzling down. Okay, so blessed. Let me bump that up. Okay, and I was reading it. On the last program. If you go back, it's not on Ninja's channel here, which is Ask Dezert-Owl. You got to go back to Lost Scriptures and Bible Translations, our other channel that we're using right now. Lost Scriptures and Bible Translations, and the last one we did there, I think it's 10 or 20. Do you remember the number, Ninja, by any chance? 204. Yeah, number 204. Thank you. 204. And that's when I forgot what I was talking about now. My head is spinning. Okay, so that when we did the last read and blessed, right? The last read. Thank you. So so here we go, ladies and gentlemen. So blessed, when I was reading it, I backed up because I was showing how the real term for blessed was is, not was, but is vorn. Just show you how utterly different these Ashavors are. Vorn rule, and I use apostrophes to break up the word so you can see how to pronounce it. They should be all one word, one letter system, but I'm just showing you. Originally, they didn't have the vowels. The vowels were added as they read it, but today we use the vowels because we got to get it. There's variables that if you change the vowel, you get the other meaning of words, but I'm not doing that here. Vorn rule K. Okay, so vorn rule Kath. I don't think I could even blow that up and it will fit. Oh, it does. Good. So vorn rule Kath, we'll just go ahead and bump down now. So we're on the next page. Vorn rule Kath was corrupted, ladies and gentlemen, into blessed. So born is the original word for born. They they took away the V as the second letter of the alphabet and made it a B. Okay, I love that Control Z, the Z power. That they know something when they did that, right? And that's why they put it on the bottom right of your keyboard, bottom left, excuse me, and goes around the left. So one rule means as rule, as in being in control, and then the ul, control. Why are you in control? Because you got vision. You're the owl. We're all supposed to be owls, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just a metaphor for what everybody else is supposed to be as well. And K is the original word for keys, and in the keys you got the eye. The eye. Here's the fire in the eye. That's because the KH was in Cain, the fire of Cain. There's the original word for Cain in Khan, and Khan became king, and so king is the word for Cain, and you don't want a king then. You want a Malak, a royal messenger, one who speaks for the voice above, who recognizes the truth that he's not the head, there's a greater head. And Ath is of the ether. You see, so literally vorn rule Kath means endowed, enlightened, and separated with a mind's eye, or A, for seeing in the night, right? That's what it means. The endowment, enlightenment, and separation with the mind's eye for seeing in the night. Now, is that a mouthful? It fits the big word, doesn't it? But now what we get with blessed, what they changed it to out of the Vatican at the College of Abbreviators, we get Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, right? Be less and remove. Do you see it? Here's the word for remove, ladies and gentlemen. It's a curse. That's why I knew I had to do the dictionary, because I'm discovering so much of this stuff, talking about it, and I got to be able to put all the definitions in a book now, because I've been making so many more discoveries. That's why I'm now having to translate and do a dictionary all at the same time. But okay, so you see it's all there. Be less. What just happened? Okay, and remove. You see it's all there. Ed as in editor. What does an editor do? He removes. This is the prime root for the word end. It's over, right? So when they're saying be less and add an end, that's the other element of it. or literally, because this is an anagram, and so in that anagram we find the word, when you read it backwards, right? When you read it backwards, sold, and so be less and removed, and be sold out by the Ashkenazi Khazar Aryan Vaticana, the Jews that control banking, ladies and gentlemen, the banksters, the crooksters. Okay, so that's another one. I got two more. Hang on. It even gets funnier. I don't know if the word's funnier or better or what, because it's sickening to realize what they did to us at the College of Abbreviators, run by the BITCHUTE. That's what the translators are called at the you know who's at the College of Abbreviators, called BITCHUTE. It's like soothsayer, you know what I mean? And that's why I'm calling it cursed words, ladies and gentlemen. These are cursed words. Let me put that in there. And you're able to get the, all of this, ladies and gentlemen. I could put this on a PDF if you want this whole kit and caboodle. I got all the way up above. It's on page 41 now. All of our work here is available because we want you to, to be set free. I was going to put that in red, but it's the wrong red there. Let me go up and if I can find it. Any reds up here? Any? That's the wrong red. Getting close. I know it. Come on. There we go. Here we go. I like the deeper red, not that pastel colored red. Hang on. Oh, you're 96. I wanted 76. Come on. Oh, that's the way to do it. Okay, very good. I figured something out right here live, Ninja, on the broadcast. I never knew how to do this, but because I'm on pressure now, I'm going to do it. I just did something I never did before with my own Word document because I hate looking. It's like, oh, I don't want to have to do that. And that's what we did. She and I figured out earlier this week. It was a real accomplishment. It's like we've really, after 3 days of trying to figure out all that stuff, because they did a download on me without being ready to do a download. Then it messed up the computer, and I had to figure out how to pull that together without being able to hire a technician with no funny money. You know what I mean? And so we did it. We actually did it. And so, yeah, it's a juggling act, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen, on planet Earth? Huh? Come on. I just clicked on you. There we go. There we go. Cursed words, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're talking about. Cursed words. I'm going to bump that down a little bit. Okay. We'll bump. Well, how do we want to do this? Okay, we're good there. Move that down a little bit. All right. And then okay, so now look at this one. All right, what do we do when we hit the books, right? We go to school and we hit the books, right? And so we can say that we studied. Notice anything in that word, Ninja? Rather interesting. Come on, you can whisper in my ear. Died. Thank you very much. Yeah, the word died is right in our face, ladies and gentlemen, but we never saw it until Desert pointed it out to you, right? And so what is the abbreviation? Remember, it's the College of Abbreviators, so they abbreviated the word. Do you want to take one guess, Ninja? Do you have a guess? Too late. Student died. Student died. Now you think, you think that's bad, ladies and gentlemen, but you, especially when we're dealing with our earthly family, right? Come on. Right. Well, the word stew is also an abbreviation of the word star. Let me, how am I going to do this? Is star, because remember we're supposed to be a star, right? And so the star, a stud. In other words, the word right here, the word stud, is what was originally a reflection of the stars, right? When you put it on your clothing, we call them studs, but they're shiny little stars, right? They're points of light. And so study means to have star eyes. The original word should have been star eyes, stud-eyed. You can see the word eye is in there if we change it, right? It's study. Okay, you were talking about the word study, right? And so study, okay, study, well, here. Study, because of the Y, literally means stud eye or star eye. Okay, so we're supposed to have star eyes. We look and we can see. That's going back to the owl again, right? So star eye became studied, and studied was student died. Okay, that's the game they played. And so family, let's look at this one. Don't tell me it's more of the same, Desert. Okay, FAMLIAR. No, that's wrong. Family. What am I doing? I'm looking at the wrong word. FAMLIES. I got it in front of me. Okay, so now I don't need my conscience talking to me here. ILIAR. Okay, no, I'm looking at the wrong word again. Families. Okay, I'm good. Okay, if it's getting confusing when I hear something in my head. IES. There we go. Right? Families. Spell checker complaining? No, no complaint there. And so what is families? Get ready. Familiar lies. What do you think, Ninja? You think it's true? Yeah, familiar is right. Familiar. There it is. It keeps repeating itself, right? Liar, 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 liar. Right? You see, this is a curse. What I was talking about with the ed by itself, that's where I got the term cursed words, friends, because when I was doing the translation, what you're going to see next when we come back from the break is you're going to see how I had to move away from the ED, right? From the ED. What do I want to do here? With ED, and I had to move to what was original. It was actually in the King James, but it was spelled ETH, right? But it is correctly ATH. They removed the A, which is the first prime root of the letter for the word IAY, which became, unfortunately, EYE, all vowels. Interesting, right? But it is so I sometimes spell it like this just to help people to see it, to not forget. Now I got my computer froze for a second. Stand by. Come on. Spinning the wheel. All right. I'm not asking too much of you, am I? Come on. All right. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. So the student died. We know it's true. We graduated. What do we graduate with? That comes from the word landgrab. All the garbage they fed us. The landgrab, what's in your garage. All your garage is in your garbage in your garage. And that's the landgrab, what they put in a cannon to shoot at a ship so it'd be dead in the water. Story for another day. But when you graduated, what did they put on your head but a mortar board, a Mason's mortar board, which means that you simply got mud in your eye. The student died. He's now under our control. He's under the spell, the cursed words, ladies and gentlemen, and you got it here on the Forbidden History Live, what they didn't want you to know. But somebody's got to do it, ladies and gentlemen. That's why we're here. Glad you're tuned in. Don't go away. Go into a break. We'll be right back with a little more of the same, but a little different, because we're going now, when we get back to the gospel, the star message of enlightenment of the Nazarene, which was corrupted into Nazarene. What they didn't want you to know, of course. We'll be right back.
Now we can see a new world coming into view. A world in which there is the very real prospect of a new world order.
The new world order does not mean surrendering our national sovereignty or forfeiting our interests.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the broadcast and Forbidden History Live on Ask Dezert-Owl. This is a talk radio program. That means, you're supposed to call in and make a comment, ask a question, give a complaint, whatever. And but that's okay. I know you want to hear me talk, and I can do my share of that. So I have a long way to go and a short time to get there. But don't forget, you can call in if you and it doesn't have to be on specifically to the topic that I'm on. I mean, I cover a broad range, from political science to ancient history, modern history, secret societies, and then of course the translations and the conspiracy to control our thinking, to control our thoughts, to control our Aishavors, ladies and gentlemen, which is words. So not only did the student die when he studied, the student died, but they killed our words. And word is war of death. Word, W-O-R-D, is war of death. So they've really done a hatchet job on us. And so I'm doing my best to present for you what has been revealed to me. In other words, shame on me if I don't share it, because the idea is to help people to wake up, and because we've been put under the spell, and now I call it curse word, just like gospel, as you've heard me mention here over and over, means go spell, because originally in the Greek it was evangelion, which means the star of enlightenment. Okay, the star of enlightenment, meaning going back to pointing to the sun, because that's the first thing that was made in our solar system was the sun, and then the suns and the moons and the planets, they came out of the sun. That's why they go around the sun, because they came out of the sun. It's their mother star. Nature is an illustration. Okay, nature is speaking. And we have to learn to read what is right in front of us. Just like when you look at those buttes in the Arizona desert, that didn't happen in just 6,000 years ago. They even shortened it to like 5,000, when literally the Aryan race, it was 8,000, between 8 and 10,000 years ago when they got here. And people have been bought into another lie on top of the other lie that no, it was just 5,000 years ago when it just started. Yeah, everything, and yet, so they can't even count, because the flood occurred about 5,000 years ago from now, 5,000 years ago. And then before the flood, there was a few thousand years of this history that built the pyramid civilizations, the one world Vedic culture that built pyramid civilizations all around the world with this super technology. And there were races here prior to the Aryan race. And that, again, opens up another can of worms of another lie, that all of the races came out of Adam, and it's not true. I used to think that. I bought into that for the last, up until about a decade ago. Finally, it became clear, because it's the story and the legacy of Adam, and and he was the bright and shining one, and they converted his downfall, his being the wise Naga, the serpent that was deceiving his counterpart, Eve. Don't worry, baby. Just listen to me. This will be okay. We're not going to die. It's not going to kill us, because he knew that, she had in her the ability to bring forth. What's the next thing that happens after the serpent convinced her it's okay to do this thing? They had a baby. Ladies and gentlemen. That's right. And, but don't tell that to the lightweights, because they're certain it was an apple, even though there was never an apple mentioned. And that yet when it says in the King James a snake, well, gee, when we open up the book, we find out in the Hebrew it's Naga. Naga is another abbreviation of the Nagash. The Nagash means that which came down with power. Well, who came down with power? When Adam named all things, named all things, as it says clearly in the beginning in Genesis, that that he was taken up and put into the Eden, which is a corruption of the word Adam, the atom, and then then when he was done naming everything, after everything came to be on earth, because he was the first made, as it clearly says, then he was taken out of the atom, which was corrupted into the word Eden, and placed into the garden. When I read that, you know, for the first time about 7 years ago, I said, wait a minute, he's taken out of the Eden and placed in the garden. So wait a minute, there's two gardens? What's going on here? You know, and see, this is how they, by changing the words, because it's not Eden, it's the atom, the atom. That which is the greatest is representing that which is the smallest. The garden of the atoms is the sun, which all the planets came out of. Everything came out of the light. It is the portal that everything came through from the great father of light. Okay, it's not, it's big, ladies and gentlemen, the picture of what has been hidden from us. There is a story, but you know, if all the Aish of War's words are corrupted, the scriptures have been altered, filtered, you name it. Okay, even, you know, the whole thing about, well, Moses wrote the 5 books. Wait a minute, go look. Okay, go look. I've got the graphic actually for it. Since we're going to do a screen share, I might as well just show you. So let me pull up a screen share, because we're now going to do a read, but I just want to show you one more. Proof for the pudding is in the eating of it. They don't even get that quote right. You know, they always say the proof is in the pudding. Wait a minute, what? What do you mean? Well, how do you know? Maybe you ought to eat it, then you'll know, right? So the proof of the pudding is in the eating of it. That's the original saying for that, and they don't get that. You know, it's like everything. People say, oh, it can't, it's a coincidence. Well, wait a minute. Coincidence means it's related. So if it looks similar, acts similar, it is a coincidence, you see? It is correlated, but they got that one, everything, you know? Now people talk about, wait a minute, a light bulb just went off. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You mean the light bulb went off? How come the light bulb didn't go on? You see, they got us to say everything backwards. Everything, ladies and gentlemen. It's amazing what they've done to us. I'm getting there. Hang on. Where is it? Are they listening? Are they listening? Or you don't want them to listen? I'm asking, are you on live right now, or is this a back question? A back? Right. Well, I'm saying, are you on the broadcast, or are you speaking in my head? Oh, okay. No, I can't see the chat, but go ahead. What is it? Well, yeah, I'm not. Yeah, well, if you want to jump in and ask a question, that's fine. But I think everybody should hear you talking if you're gonna do it. Okay. So go ahead. It's good because I'm not doing my read yet. It's a good time because before I start reading the big document. Go ahead. Hold on. I'll just stand by because I want to show them. I just want to show this. Okay. So here we go. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, here we come. Talking about the different sources, right? So this is what the got electricity. Oh no, that was lightning. Okay, that was a big one right out the door. All right, so we're still broadcasting. That's the good news. And but look at this, ladies and gentlemen. You see, they say that Moses wrote all this. Well, wait a minute. Look at how it's all an open secret. You got the J text, which is correctly called the Yahwistic text. You got the E text, which is the Elohist text, which is from the northern kingdom. The southern kingdom maintained the Yahwistic text. The northern kingdom, remember, it was divide and conquer. The northern kingdom had the Elohist. They used Elohim. They didn't use the Yahweh. And then we have the priestly text and the redactor. And there's more that can be said about it, but what you don't see here, look, is you don't see Deuteronomy. And I'm beginning to suspect, and I haven't done the research yet enough, you know, because I got to focus directly on that issue. But I think Deuteronomy, when they got everybody enslaved, do this, don't do that, do this, don't do that. The duty, okay, pay the piper, the tax, right? I think that is purely out of Babylon. but I've got to, do a little more study. I'm up on the Yahwistic and Elohim text real easy, but the priestly and the redactor, I've got to do a little refresher. I may know it, but I can't remember it. And so you see, there it is. How could he have written only other than parts of it, right? Because there's parts in there clearly from that period. But this, what we get in what we call the 5 books of Moses, is a regrouping, because they lost the northern kingdom. Then the tribe of Judah, was sent to Babylon, and they lost everything. And in the process of coming back from Babylon 70 years later, with Ezra being the high priest at the time, is they had to reorganize. And so what we call the 5 books of Moses, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, and these are not good words. These are corrupted terms, ladies and gentlemen, Numbers. And where's Deuteronomy? I'm not sure at the moment. There's a Deuteronomist text right there. That they did a splicing and dicing together to create a foundation for the next round of their culture that they were trying to regroup. But from that point on, they were under the Babylonian Talmud. Okay? So you got it here first, I guess, because this is the stuff that nobody seems to talk about, and I'm giving you the graphic illustration. You can't miss it, ladies and gentlemen. Yahwistic, look at how it's all blended together. All blended with the Elohist text, with the priestly text, okay, all spliced and diced together. And I'm going to do a translation, if there's time left, of the Yahwistic text. It's a profound read, because it's the more primitive read of what we have in Matthew or Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, all the way through Joshua, okay, all the way through there. And it's a profound read all by itself. Then it was spliced up and diced into the bigger document, and that's why when you read the first chapter of Genesis through the second verse 4, you got the Elohist text. And then at verse 4 on, or 5, then you get the Yahwistic text, and then it's going back and forth. And I've already done the preparation for the transliteration, and I utilized the work by Murdoch, James Murdoch. In the 1920s, he did the book called The Bible, and he talked about the problems, that I have a discussion by him, actually. So we're in the no zone, ladies and gentlemen, where nobody knows, nobody gets it. They're not going to work for it. They're going to hope that they can hopscotch into the kingdom of heaven without having to do any legwork or research. But we're bringing it on. That's all I can do. Ninja, where are you at? Ninja, come on down.
I'm here. Do you want me to go back to... You stopped sharing. Hang on.
All right. Oh. Well, okay. Do we need to stop sharing? I'm going to do a presentation on what?
You can put your Word document up. I just didn't know.
All right. I'll put my Word document up. That's next. Yeah.
Okay.
Go. Okay. What's your question?
Okay. I noticed it first in the chat, or in any kind of comments, messaging, wherever you text back and forth, how most of us shorten 2 words that are, I think, overlooked a lot. The words thank you, we just type in TY, and those 2 letters are very significant letters in the original thought. So
right.
I
Yes,
just thought
it's
that was very
the body nailed to the cross. Basically,
Yeah.
It's the body nailed.
I thought that was very interesting.
Right.
And
it's a beautiful symbol that way. Thank you.
And so it's a good way to. Anyway, then I looked further at the actual.
Well, I just want to add that it shows that they are pictures that
Yes.
easily speak when you see them correctly. Go ahead.
Yes. I looked further at the actual words, and thank starts with TH, which is the breath, And Ankh, I can't really. Ankh means something.
Well, it's a part of the word ankel, so it's the
Yes.
bend.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so what they're doing is they're carrying a cross with an oval. The oval probably represents the woman, and the cross represents the spirit. But because the cross has two angles on it, if we look at the bottom part, and the cross has two angles on it if we look at the top part, so it's about ankel. It's the angle of creation. It comes from a circle and goes into all different forms, and the bend is what represents all other forms.
Okay.
You
Thank you.
see?
Um,
Right. It comes out from a circle. It starts with the circle, then it goes into a square, a cross, and all other forms, right? The four directions.
yeah. And the word you, when like why I'm thinking Y double O, not YOU. Y double O.
Right, because it's
Yeah.
the primary element of sun and moon. That's why. And
Yeah.
when
So
Adam said to Keva, when Adam said to Keva, no, it's not going to hurt us if we do this thing. Don't you know that you know that we would know about good and evil? It was dealing with the word good and evil. I'm having a rough time paraphrasing at the moment, but
mm,
but it wasn't good and evil. It was about sun and moon. You see, because they're the reference points. One is darkness, one is light. Good and evil became what was originally defined as sun and moon. That's how it began in the beginning with the symbol. Go ahead.
okay. And yeah, I was thinking how a lot of people just say the words thank you and don't really mean them, and I think they're very powerful. And thinking of the other words that you can say instead of thank you, I think they're more corrupt, like grateful and appreciate, without going into those words too much. But I think thank you is very uh, pure and powerful. And I thought I'd bring that up also, being on a Sunday, to sh- just say thank you. Yeah.
Right, and David spelt with two O's, truth sayers. Thank you, truth sayers. That's what he said there. So
Oh,
he's using the code, rubbing off on David Wellings, coming from the well. Okay, David, thank you very much for that,
that's cool.
and thank you for your question as well, Sister Ninja. Appreciate that. And
Thank you.
so, all right, we're going to go back now to the Ace of Wars, and I'll help them up to this because I'm already, getting talked out. And when you're not talking all the time, like on a 5 days a week type thing, then it gets, and you're 65 or is it 67? I'm losing track of time now. Geez, I don't want to know. So let me get a little more light. I got to get some more light behind me because the screen is kind of blurry. And we're going to pick it up where we left off on the last read on the other channel on program 204. Was it 204? I think so.
205's the next one.
205. 205 is the next one, right? So 204. And so much to know and so little time to go, ladies and gentlemen. So glad you're tuned in. The few who get it, it's really it's important. I'm committed to serving my brothers and sisters that are out there, and I like it. I like small because it's not as confusing, and all the bells and whistles aren't going off all the time with people, and so I can still do my translation. But I know ultimately it could get hectic and busy. But I'm just always amazed that people aren't asking for the documents. We're willing to give it away. You can email me at FreeAmerica. No, that's the old one. That's Skype. Forbidden History Live at Gmail. Okay, Forbidden History Live. And it's strictly for giving away the PDFs and for the business of the ministry. So please don't send me information. I have no time to review any other information. I selectively choose the documentaries I need to review for the purpose of growing and learning. And so, but if you want a copy of any of the documents, hit me up. Okay, just tell me what you're looking for. If you look in the back of the KLD, if you got the KLD, the whole catalog of 200 200 PDFs in there from all the lost writings to about 50 dictionaries, from the law dictionaries to the etymological dictionaries to the Hittite dictionary to the Samuel Johnson dictionary from the 1700s. I got it. Webster dictionary as well, 1828. Got it, ladies and gentlemen. And, so you can really get lost. It's time to become a thinker, because and being entertained. I'm sick of the music. I'm sick of the old songs, the Beatle music and all the other rock and roll stuff. I'm sick of it because when I listen to the words, I realize how vain it really was and how it always had those sexual innuendos, and just they really had us under their spell, and I'm sick of their spell and their spelling. Okay, and so the hardest thing for me to ever do was to be able to bring a transliteration of the corrupted scriptures to our modern time, because I didn't know how I was going to do it. How do you bring the old and the modern together? And so it's side by side, it's back to back, and it's with the forward slash, and that, because I wanted it to be clean at the same time, and so it took several decades of attempts, 3 or 4 actually, of working with it, and then finally it just came to the surface, thanks to the great light of Yeshua. And so I'm going to read it to you, and let me just take one more sip of my drink. And what you're hearing is what they stole from us. Now, I can add also that there is no original document of our scriptures, let alone an original document of the primitive Indo-Germanic. But because I have been able to identify the original symbols, okay, that's the beginning. And thank you, Father, for giving us these symbols, because they brought it to us in modern time. You think they would have put it in the drawer and closed the drawer and hid it away from us, but instead they utilized the all capital letters in their commercial racket. They took the baby and they took control of it when it was all of ours. Remember, they didn't have a dual system. They didn't have upper and lower. They had one alphabet. One alphabet was their mother. Okay? And so that's why this document only has capital letters with a couple exceptions for style and for emphasis. And therefore, because I know the root forms, I can state unequivocally as a matter of absolute fact that even if any of the words a shavors that I present here as being from the Indo-Germanic root, and because I don't have any copy of the original, and therefore I can't prove it to you, you have to see and read it for yourself. Even if I were wrong, like here's baby, right? The vave. I mean, there is no question in my mind once I get it, and I would want to remove the the apostrophe. I'm breaking it in two so that you can get the picture of its two words, vav and ve, but you say it all together, vave. And because they corrupted the V into a B, we ended up with baby, but it is vave. And so there's the sound wave in the makeup of all of these letters, V-A, V-V-A, the exception is the Y, but it's a representative of that. It's the light that came down. That's what the Y represents, the yellow, the Yah love, the love of the Spirit that brought forth the Vave, Vava. Here's the Vava is the prime root of that. Then we got Vave because it is the sound way. The sound way. What's the baby doing? It's crying, but the sound way has to do with creation, the Vav. The like up here, right? It's like this. We'll do it here. The sound wave. Okay? Control Z. Gotta love it. And the sound wave. Let me do one more time. Okay, we'll go back. If I went too quick on that. You see? The sound wave. They're big waves, right? And then we can reduce that, right? And then we got little waves, right? big waves, little waves, depending upon the size of the wave, you get something in creation, something in nature. And this is fundamental, right? These are the fundamental principles that they stole from us, ladies and gentlemen. And so baby is vave, no question at all, because it took a lifetime to see it. Okay, I've worked real hard at it. And the Father of light is the one who gives light, and he gives the confirmations as well. So my point that I was going to make was, even if I were wrong on a certain spelling here or a certain spelling there because I wasn't there, nonetheless, I can state as an absolute fact that what I'm presenting for you is far closer and far more accurate to the original form than any of the garbage they fed us by switching out all the letters and the meanings and the forms and everything else, and abbreviating and putting the dirty, stinking little EDs at the end of words, you know, at the end of words, the ED, it's all throughout. And I had to accept the fact that I had to use the ATH at the end of certain words. You'll see it when I start reading. You'll see it, because I had to give you the original form. It may be awkward, but everybody loves to read it in their original King James Version. Saith and faith and doeth and thoueth and all of that stuff. You see, they love it there. But then when we do a scientific presentation on original form, then it's like, don't bore me with it, okay? So it's okay, because I'm settled in it. I know what the Father is doing here. You can see that the word Alek, which really is original for the voice, right? Alek. It's all about the A, the first letter of the alphabet. Who can't figure that out? Pretty easy to make that conclusion. The Alek, well, there you can see the word changed one vowel into the corrupted vowel of the I, and you get lick. Well, you see they changed it like this, right? The C, and they took out the H, and there's the lick. But you can see that in lek, you've got lick. There's the word lick right there. You can see how they corrupted it. Hope I'm not overmodulating, Ninja. Let me know if I'm always overbearing, because I get excited. And okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm not bringing on anything new. What I'm bringing on is what is old, what comes from the beginning, what is first, and I prove it out. And so if there's one little point that I missed on a bigger word, because the little words are pretty well easy. And I relate to the dictionaries, and I look at the Hebrew, I look at the Greek, I look at the Indo-Germanic dictionaries, and I see what they got, what they're offering, and then the Father gives me the wisdom to be able to get the picture, because many of the dictionaries are not there. Some of them are almost there, but they still are using some of the corruptions in the Indo-Germanic dictionaries, and I see it. I was correcting the Aramaic dictionary back 20 years ago. Correcting an Aramaic dictionary because I could see the code, and so it's a big science, but it can be known. And so I want to give it to you, okay? I want to share it, because you can be set free. You can learn you won't need me if you study the science with me and you start getting it. Then you're off to the races. You can read it for yourself. And I used to transliterate. Like when I was reading my King James or one of the other translations back 40 plus years ago, I was transliterating while I was reading it right there, because I knew these words were corrupted. And then so I had to correct it while I was reading. And I said, this is a little insane. Wow. And so I could see the problem, but at the time I didn't have all the answers or any answer, I just started taking notes and writing stuff down. And I should have started writing 3x5 cards 40 years ago, but I just started 20 years ago. I've got about 50,000 3x5 cards with notes, quotes, codes, you name it, and deciphering and dissecting. And in the process, I learned how to read. And so I don't even need these cards anymore. But they're a historical preservation. They're in case the electronics go down. Then these cards are valuable for their historical value. If somebody discovers them in a cave one day, few thousand years from now, but I doubt it because they've destroyed the world and the ozone layer. So, but it'll preserve. The Father is preserving it on hard copy that way. So, okay, so that's my little bit of primer for you today on what we're doing here in the science. So let's get on with the read, shall we? And I'll tell you what. After that, Ninja, let's do a short song. We got a nice song we can do that's short. Don't do the wind thing. Do something other, okay? Something other. Or you can do it. I don't care. I just got that in my head. I couldn't stop singing it to myself. I got tired of that one.
I'll find something.
All right, find something. I know we got something there.
Okay.
Okay, I better close out. I'm going to close out the share. Then we can't be sharing if we're going to do that because I want to watch too. Okay, what am I doing here? Skype. Yeah, I just talked myself out. I need a break. When we get back, ladies and gentlemen, we're on. But they didn't want you to know that we tell right here because somebody's got to do it. And welcome back to the broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. Forbidden History Live on Ask Dezert-Owl and the Original Thought Transliteration Project. What they didn't want you to know that we tell right here. And yeah, they wanted us stuck in the Greek and the Hebrew that they control, but it's all in the very alphabet that they are using in our modern time, right in our face, and hoping that nobody'd ever take a close look at it. What's called the Phoenician. See, they give it another name, Phoenician alphabet. No. That's the Phoenicians were a latecomer. It goes way back to the beginning. It was what was breathed into Adam, ladies and gentlemen, and that's what we're gonna be doing now. So let me go back to screen share. Okay, sharing screen. Boom. Pull up my Word document. Come on, this thing's always wanted to get funny with me. Come on. All right, there we go. Document. Boom. All right, we're on. And Ninja, are you good to go on the read?
Yep.
All right. So I'm backing up just one verse from where we left off, so I bleed over. And so I'll give you some play-by-play as I'm doing it, but I'll ad lib, because I got the modern and the original, and and I'll get my rhythm here. So, and how is it that the mother of my healer, so Maitre Mary, just went to visit Elizabeth, okay? And so this is how it starts. And how is it that the mother of my healer in sunrise, Lord, that's what Lord means, healer in sunrise, should come to me? It is the truth that as soon as the elect, the voice of your salutation, was announced in my ears, the Vave leaped for pure excitement. For blessed, endowed, enlighteneth, and separated with the mind's eye for seeing in the night is the one who trusteth. So there's the ATH example, because see, the ED means remove. So trust, remove, trust, remove, trust, remove. You see, it's a subliminal mind control. We're buying into the lie and the removal. Educated means you didn't learn nothing. They put a mortarboard on your heads, okay? So it's true staff. And so we got true star of the ether. I just want you to know that these are words. These are Eshavors. It means something. Everything here means something. And so it's the same here. Everything means something. And it's trust, remove, where this means true star of the ether, of the highest order. A true star. What is a true star of the highest order? One who knows how to trust. One who knows how to trust is a true star of the highest order. Isn't that what we're supposed to do, right? Trust. What he has said is true. And therefore, we become founded on a rock, on a foundation, unmovable, because we are true stars. Okay? So let me try it again. So so endowed, enlighteneth, and separated with the mind's eye, for seeing in the night, is the one who trusteth, who trusted. Okay, I'll say it. A true star of the higher order. For there will be a performance and a fulfillment of those things that are expressed for her. From the Gabriel, the Gravrazul, the breather and the pure giver of light, our sun rays. And I should have added that's Yeshua right there. So let me do that while I'm here, because, it's hard to come back on so much material. So let me do that. The Gabriel is Yeshua, ladies and gentlemen. And that's what they didn't want us to know, but we find it in the gospel of the 12, the gospel of what's it called, of the apostles. There, another corrupt word, the gospel of the apostles, and okay, Yeshua is the Gabriel, the giver of light. Of course, he is. If you read Isaiah, he says, "There is no one else beside me. I am the one." Okay. And there is no one else beside me. He says it over and over, like 3 chapters straight. Okay, Control, save. They got that serpent gonna save it. The serpent's always saving something. Okay, pure breather of light in our sunrise. Then Maitre Mary sang the Virgin's song for the great Zul of Haim, my soul, Elohim, my soul power doth magnify and expand you, eternal one. And my A spirit, the A Sphere, does stand up in the flowing light, rejoice. In the Yahweh, my Savior, A Shavor, my sword and my word. For you have given regard to the low estate of your handmaiden, for you must see and read it for yourself. For now on all of the generations, they do call me blessed, endowed, enlightened, and separated with the mind's A for seeing in the night. For you who has the eye, the A of sight for all things, has performed through me the greatest event, and your royal title is the only true, anointeth pure name. Name is in the mud, but we'll use it because people don't get title. And your cosmic elect, that's the voice of mercy, favor for all, is on those who revere and honor you from generation to generation. You have revealed your strength through your power, and symbolically there should be 2 O's on that one. You have revealed your strength through your power of light, your right arm. You have confounded and dispersed the proud and the arrogant all through the vain imaginations of their own hearts. You have quashed and quelled the power. Let me just back up. See, like with the Z, right? Hearts, Z. We see it's a Z sound, and it's that way. Imaginations, you see? And so when we build these words with S's, what are we doing? We're lying. We're liars because we're not giving the symbol to the right sound, the power letter Z. You see? We're lying to ourselves. We're liars. But the truth is not a part of any lie. And there's only one sound for one symbol primarily, with maybe 2 exceptions, with the A and the T, which could be silent or could be pronounced. And there may be some other situations because they've corrupted all of our diction, and it's hard to go back totally when you're not there, you know. So you have quashed and quelled. That's what they did. They quashed and quelled the powerful from their, well, only they did it to us, but now he's doing it to them, is what she's implying here. You have quashed and quelled the powerful from their exalted positions, and have exalteth the humble and the meek, the poured out. That's what it means, the poured out. They are poured out. They can't pour anything else out because they are totally poured out. Do you ever feel that? Have you ever felt that way? There's a lot of people in the world right now feeling that way, huh? Absolutely. So tragic, ladies and gentlemen. You fill the hungry with the perfect essence of life, the light of the Fae. And that's the mother that they removed from us. They didn't want us to know our mother, yet we're told to honor the father and the mother. And she is the virgin light known as the Fae. And she is one with Yeshua. She is one with the Father. The mother and father are one. And these are all the things they took from us, the metaphysics, the esoteric knowledge, okay? And you have filled the hungry with the perfect essence of life, the light of the Fae, and the wealthy hoarder you sent away empty. You help your Esharfan, your servant, that's the original word, Esharfan. There's the word sharpen right there, because we have to sharpen ourselves, right? The servant, the Eshareul Va, that's Israel, in accordance with your cosmic Elek, voice. Mercy is favor for all, and voice. It's the voice and the favor for all. Both are there. That's where you get merchant. Merchant is crying. It's the merchant cry, right? It's you go through the market in the old time, and the merchants are singing, "Come and buy my wares. Come and buy my wares. Got it every day. Don't delay. Come here." You know, they got something they're singing, you know, to get people in. That's the way they did it back then. As you spoke with our pre-Ave, that's mother, father, because they corrupted this. Over here, you can see, I'm just giving you a few examples, A, B, B, A, right? They say Abba is father, right? But Ba means both. Ba means both in Middle English, which is original, which is Indo-Germanic, which is therefore Aramaic. And so what we got is Ab is the father. Ba in reverse is mother. Remember on the mountain to Moses said, "Can you show me your face?" And he said, "No, I can only show you my backside," which was a corruption of my reverse image, because the mother is a reverse image of the father. And so Abba correctly is not two B's, but two V's. And so here it is. And so literally it is mother and father. They are one, you see? And this is part of the science and part of what they stole from us and what nobody gets. Okay, so let's try this again. And you spoke with our pre-Ave forefathers, with the Zavram Haim, sovereign. Abraham is the word for sovereign, and originally the prime root star ram is the original word for sovereign, star ram, and points right back to the sun. That's a star ram if I ever saw one, and with his seed forevermore. And Metzorem Mary stayed with her for about 3 or 3 months, and then returned back to her own home. Isn't this so much easier than learning Greek or Hebrew? Come on, look at this. Tre is 3. It's also tree, and it's tray. So 3, tree, and tray. The tree is sun, earth, and moon, and they are on the tray, and it is about the 3. Okay? And now these are the Eshavors, the words that Voleshafe, Joseph, spoke, breathing, endowed, enlighteneth, and separated with the mind's A, for seeing in the night. See, the D is the death letter, right? So it's not a mind, duh. It is a mine. It is like a mine shaft filled with gold. That's your treasure in heaven. Your heaven is your soul. It's your mind that you fill with the knowledge of enlightenment, the truth. And things begin to happen in the great mystery, the higher order of things, not the lower, the sensual down below. And so an eye for seeing in the night is the great Zul of Haim, Elohim, the creator, with us from our Ave fathers, mother, father, and well, here it is, and fathers and mothers in Eshareuva in Israel. And it did say in the translation I was working on, fathers and mothers, and so they actually got it. For at the appropriate time you have heard me, and at the age, I think it's age here, that may be a misspelling, the age of soul innovation, lift me up. Okay. Control save. For you breathe, I preserve and make a lasting covenant. Keva noon. It's at high noon. The kava is the protection. It is like the cave, but it is the sun at high noon. That's another kava noon. With you, for the people, the faithful, for the renewal of the face, the fascia of the earth. Okay, so he's instituting. Yeshua is at this moment in time, 2,000 years ago, about to bring forth the golden age of light. The old world is done. It's over. The corruption, the Babylonian Talmud, and all that. But, we still have it today, of course, because it's the mystery, right? It's the duality. You can have the right hand or the left hand. Which one do you want? The light or the darkness? It's still a choice, right? And to cause the desolate places to be redeemed from the hands of the destroyer, so that you will breathe before the captives. Come out, proceed forward, and be free, Freya. But for those who remain in the darkness, show yourselves to be in the light, and you will nourish yourselves on the way of the Yesh Shalom, the royal eye of the creation's peace. Should be a Z there. They will no longer hunt to kill, nor trouble the the creatures that I have made to stand up in that flowing light, which is rejoice before me. They will not hunger nor thirst any more, neither will the heat strike them, nor cold kill them, for I have made on all of my mountains a pathway for the traveler, so that my high places will be even more exalted. A song comes out from the sun. So stand up in that flowing light. Rejoice on the earth. You true who are barren, break out into a songa for you. True and perfect. The Yavalhe, who is the great Zul of Haim with us, comfort your people, the faithful, and make firm those who have suffered wrong. Election 3, the Nativity, the now Tavtre of Yalgenun, John, the Nativity of John. Look at those words, ladies and gentlemen, what they stole. You can read it. You can get the picture. It is so powerful, just like the word day. You know, like right here, you see day, we spelled D-A-Y, right? But it is actually all, right? Day all, or we could, the idea is that the sound is twice, right? Day y'all. But what is day y'all? You see, so when we say the word day, we're only using half the word because it's two parts, right? It's the light and the darkness. It's the eye of the sun, and then the sun setting, right? But it is actually, here's the word correctly when I just showed you the original Aramaic, Indo-Germanic, but in our modern it's spelled D-I-A-L. Well, is not the earth a dial? Is not the sun and the moon constantly going around on the dial? You see? So it's not hard to prove it out when you can hear and when you can see it for yourself. Control save. It then occurred that on the eighth day, the eighth dial, that's not one word that I've been changing in here. I'm trying to not overdo it to lose everybody. It's hard because I'm trying to transliterate based on original thought the most important words or eshavors, but some of them I don't do because it'd be really a lot more difficult for people to follow, and I'm trying to find that middle ground. So it then occurred that on the eighth day, they all gathered together to anoint and circumcise the youth. Talking about Yalganun, John. Then the friends and family were all discussing who he should be named after, and they all wanted to name him after his father, Zechariah. But his mother replied, not so. He will be called by the title, the Yalgenun. And they always had the word "the" in front of these titles because they were an expression of something bigger. Okay? Corrupted into John, meaning the garden that goes round at high noon. Oh, so we're going back into the atom, into the Eden. If we're in the lower garden of corruption, we must be going back now into the garden of perfection, the garden at high noon, the garden that goes around at high noon, the grace and mercy of the Yalval He. The He is the breath, ladies and gentlemen. The He is the breath. That's the original word for the also. That's why the H is in the middle. Then they breathed for her. They breathe, not breathe with a D for death. Let's get that out of there. That's a death word. They breathed for her. But there is not one. I'll put the small v for the form. See, it's von. It's actually von A, but it's one. Okay, the V is just a symbol, a silent symbol there, but the original is von A, the one I. There is only one. It's all the play of the one. You see? Yeah, I know you've heard that term somewhere before, but there is not one of your relations by that name of this title. So they made signs to his father because he was deaf and dumb, and not one of the translations get that right either. None of them say it specifically that he was deaf and dumb, but yet if you look at it and analyze it, you can see it's clear. is clear. He couldn't talk and he couldn't hear. That's why they write something down on a paper for him or on a stylus, so that he can read it. Okay, so they made signs. See, they made signs to his father because he couldn't hear. So he was deaf and dumb as to what he wanted to call him. And then he motioned for a writing tablet and he wrote upon it. His title or name is Yagenun, what means the perfect pure garden that goes round at the zenith of high noon. That's where we are in Yeshua every moment of the day, ladies and gentlemen. It's always high noon in Yeshua, you see? It's always high noon. That's just a symbol of that sun going around the dial, also known as the Ouroboros, the serpent eating its tail. Let me take a sip here and we'll continue. Thank you. Sorry about that. Then upon this, they all became puzzled. But at this very instant, his ears were opened up, and his tongue, his tongue was immediately released. And he spoke about the great miracle and the vision that came upon him while he, the eye, stood up in this flowing light of the Yahweh, Lord, who is the great Zulafhaim with us. And so you see here the word he. Remember I said the H is the word the, right? So they're giving us the Jesuit Jewish Balaisuits in the Vatican are giving us an abbreviated code. The H is the word the. It's the he, but we pronounce it he. And the E is the prime of the corruption for the I. Notice there's two E's in the word I. The light is in the middle, and these are blind eyes because it's not the letter A. But he, in other words, if I point the finger at somebody, I say he. In the olden time, they would have said the I. The I. Why? Because you got a couple of them. Okay, and you're of a higher order on earth, so you're the I. Okay, and so he the I. Okay, so he's speaking this great miracle and the vision that came upon him while the eye stood up in this flowing light of the Yahweh, Lord, who is the great Zulafhaim with us. For this reason, a great fear and reverence fell on the entire region surrounding them, so that all of this account was made known throughout the entire hill country of Utah. Utah is the original. Utah, because you got the D in there when Utah is the symbol of a star, and it's youth. Why? Because it never gets tired. That's what happens with the teenagers, right? The young people, they never get tired. They got the youth. We always wish we had that energy we used to have, but they put the D in there and they got Utah, and then they changed the Y to a J, and we got Judah. Wait a minute, that J didn't exist up until the late 1700s when they invented the word Jew. Okay, and that's when we got all these corruptions in the J. They're taking over the baby. Okay, so that all who heard this account kept it close to their heart while questioning, could this be the promised Moeshiach, the Messiah? And the right hand, the power of the Yahweh, Lord, was with him at all times. This is when his Ave father, Zacharias, was overcome with the only true anointed, a spirit, and star navigating, breathes. Blessed, endowed, and enlighteneth, and separated with a mind's eye, for seeing in the night is the Yahweh, Lord, who is the great Zulafhaim with us, the great architect and creator of Israel, Esha Reuva. For you are visiting and redeeming your people, the faithful, and raise up a powerful symbol. Powerful. I'm editing it right here live on the broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. Probably the only time in history ever happening like this. And raise up a powerful symbol, logo of power, a horn of salvation, soul novation, a corn, a seed, a seat of the greatest soul novation being for us in the great house of the son of your Esharfan, your ray of light servant, David, Tavat. That was a mouthful. And you got to realize, of course, that it would be, there is no future tense in the, in the original, no future, and may not be also no past, And so a lot of what I'm doing is present tense in there, but I do it, carefully because I don't do it every time. And so just be aware of that. But we're hearing, obviously, it's far easier than Hebrew or Greek, but nonetheless, it's still, you got to be focused, and you may want to have to do the replay on this to follow it further and stop it and read it right there on the screen. We can get it to you on PDF, but you got it right here on the screen also. That's probably why you don't call and get it. I don't know. So as you speak by the ALEC, the voice of your only true anointed star navigator who has been with us from before the world began, in that we shuleth, there it is, see? Look, the U is a corruption. It's two O's. It's shul, and there's the word for knowledge, the original word for school, right? And so in that we shuleth, we should have the higher knowledge through, then it's repeating it here, through knowledge, be saved, a shavath, from our enemies and from the hand of power of all those who hate us, in order to perform the mercy, the favor for all promised, promeshath, our ancestors. Got another Z there, because I just go so fast, because, I'm trying to keep the next line in my head, and I'm looking at the other writings, and having to compare. So it's so I miss these little points like that. Okay, so in order to perform the mercy, favor for all promised, promeshath, our ancestors. Put a comma there. The commas are, well, it doesn't work every time, but the commas are help to break the thought, so you can, see where I got both the modern and the old. Sometimes I can't fit it. Okay, and promeshath, our ancestors, and eshators, there's ancestors, and for the remembrance of your only true anointed covenant, Keva Nun. You can see Keva Nun is in covenant, but there is no C, right? And there's corruption in here as well. There's no E in the original, in this particular. Okay, so the covenant, Keva Nun, oath means true breath. That makes sense, doesn't it? The true, O is the true, and the ath is the prime root of the word breath, ATH, BR. There's your higher order. You see the word ATH, I failed to mention that, is the prime suffix. The soul fix, suffix is soul for solar, fix, the end of the word, is more important than what's at the beginning. It's the soul fix, the ath, the ether, a true breath that you vowed, vavath, wove for us, Father, for our Father, Ave, that he, the I, grants for us, that we are delivered out of the hands, the power of our enemies. Hand represents power, of course, power of our enemies. All can serve you without fear, being pure, anointeth, and perfect in the flowing light before you through all the days of our abetre, veta, life. See, putting on the light of perfection, a second born, a new creation. The old guy or gal has to die so that the spirit can live. The great mystery. That's why you have to become the second born, ladies and gentlemen. The first one was in the lower world of darkness, but then you woke up to the light of the truth from the tree's root. Stand by. Okay. And for you, my offspring, sprig for a plant. You are calleth the star or czar navigator, a prophet, prophet. Prophet means for the virgin light, for the mother. See, it's so it's not about making money, it's about being in favor of what is pure and true. Of the Most High, the prophet of the Most High, the mother star, czar in the eye of the return. For you will go before his fascia, his face, that of the Yahweh, Lord, who is the great Zulafhaim, with us, in order to prepare his pure way, the way or path, which we see faith and faith. So I give you all the variables, all one word in the sense, in the original sense, but so that way you can get it. You know, I'm not here trying to control the words. Otherwise, I would just give you one. I'd either give you way or ve or path or faith, you know, or faith. But no, I give all of it because it's the only way you'll get the picture. You can choose which one you want to use, right? But it's an illustration of the problem that we're dealing with in our modern time. So I give you the modern, and I give you the most primitive. It's your choice, you know. But I want to know, okay? I don't know about anybody else, but I want to know because I want to go. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, we don't want to be here. You want to be here when these creeps have killed your world, these Ashkenazi Khazars, the Tsar. You see, they've been with us from the beginning. The Tsar, you look at that word and they're calling themselves stars. Who calls themselves stars in Hollywood today, right? The Walk of the Stars. Or you're a good singer and so you're a star, you know? Yeah. Okay, put two and two together. Giving the key knowledge, the Keva Nova ledger. Ledger is the original word for age. Okay. The L and the R are secret vowels that they don't teach us in school. Of the key knowledge, Keva Nova ledger of salvation, soul, novation, the salvation of a star, because you, ladies and gentlemen, are a star. You have a soul, and it's not at the bottom of your feet, it's in your head. That's who you are, the soul of who you are. They put it at the bottom of our feet because they hate us. And that's why they removed everything at our education, right? For your people, the faithful, through the remission of their blindness. Corruption is sin because it is about darkness and blindness. You have to get the picture. With sin, you get no picture. It's an abstract, ambiguous form. That's how they tricked us. That's how they changed the words. All through the reaching hands, the hands of cosmic power, and Elek, a voice, mercy, favor for all by our Yahweh, Lord, who is the great Zulafhaim, Elohim, with us. Thereby, I should have the word Elohim there, and I don't. Let me grab it real quick. I try to put the modern with the ancient, so that I help the people. If they they don't want to read the original thought, then they can read the document and just have the modern. Okay, but this is Babylon. This is actually not modern. It's now Vaticana, but ELOHIM, and we'll give it the Vatican version, God. Gotta wonder who that guy is, huh? The Papa. Papa means evil. Yeah, literally. Okay, and thereby the sunrise. Okay, so where was I? The Yahweh, who is the great Zulafhaim, with us. Thereby the sunrise, the sun rays at high noon, has visited us, providing light for all those who seat in the darkness, who seat in the darkness. Sit. There's a reason I have that, and it's escaping me, but I'll correct that. Maybe I was wrong on that. Sit, S-I-T, in. And whenever you see one N, there's actually always two in the original, because the M is the next letter in the alphabet in front of it, and the two N's are a dividing of the mother, letter M for mother, the right and the left pillars on the V in the capital M. And so it's the two powers then coming down, the light and the darkness. Which one is it? You tell me. Okay, in the darkness and in the shadow of the death, for guiding our feet upon the way of peace. And so this youth grew. It's a youth. I should have had the small a there. The a, when it's small, is silent. It's there as a silent symbol. So you get that the word for youth is the same word for the corrupted word Judah. Yuta. Yuda. Yuta. It means never gets tired, always shining, you see? And so it's the dot, it's the yud. The yud is the smallest version of that word, Y-U-D, right? The yud is the dot, but correctly it would be like Y-O-T. It's the yot. The yot is the dot, but you see how they always got to add the corrupted U for the O, always got to add the D for the T. It's a game, ladies and gentlemen. They're having a party on us, and we can be set free. We can become enlightened. We don't have to be fooled anymore by the game that they play on you and me. And there's not much time left to figure the game out. Okay, so this youth grew, and his spirit, his A spirit, intensified. It should be A. It's an A spirit, so I can fix that by that. And his A spirit intensified. But because your A spirit is what you are primarily, as Stephen Jacobson did such a good job at the beginning, pointing out what we really are is spirit. So what came first is our spirit in the great mystery, before we came here as a serpent in the flesh, right? Intensified. And by splitting the words up with hyphens, it helps you to see more aspects of these hidden meanings. But his mission was hidden until the Dayel of his clear announcement for Asha Reyulva, for Israel. So he was, nobody knew about him. It was not talked about. Of course, his father was killed at the temple between the columns, and his mother died when he was about 8 years old, I think, and Mathino took over as his tutor. You read about it in the Aquarian Gospel. We've got it on PDF if you need it. Don't have to pay the pirated $50 for it anymore from, these other sources. Okay, so election 4. I'll tell you what, we got 2 more to go, I think. So I'm going to take one more break. I got to pace myself, but I want to finish these I have here. So, okay, I don't want to do part 2 because we got more to do, anyway. So, Ninja, let's go to another break, okay? And you can show them the books maybe. That's some nice soft music you got on that. And then they can go take a break and come on back if they're still with us, okay? So let me stop sharing. When we get back, we'll be on chapter 4. Almost done, ladies and gentlemen. You never heard this before, I know that. But hope it's making sense to you. Hope you're seeing and reading it for yourself and realize there's more to our dilemma than meets the eye. Be set free. I'm Dezert-Owl. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Extended program today. We're back up and running. And welcome back to Ask Dezert-Owl on Forbidden History series, ladies and gentlemen. The original thought transliteration project. What they didn't want you to know, but we tell right here because somebody's got to do it. And it's I can't imagine what it is like for somebody to hear this stuff for the first time, because I know I've been doing it for so long, and I always wonder, or it's sort of like the guy that asked a question, to George Harrison one day on the camera. He goes, "Hey, what's it like to be a Beatle?" And George turns around and looks at him and says, "What's it like not to be a Beatle?" You know, and you can think about that for a minute, right? Because you can't go anywhere without being noticed, right? And so the whole idea is, okay, so what's it like to hear this for the first time? And so it's an experience where I welcome feedback. You can call in, you can ask a question, you can um, kick the tires a little bit, get the documents. We make it available. We got 4 dictionaries, about to do a 5th dictionary with the occultic words, or what would I call it? The cursed words. Yeah, we're going to get the cursed words to help people get a bit, get it, that, when I'm doing this work, we're leaving some things behind, because these things they have cursed us with, like the ED, which means end and remove, and we see it in education and editor, right? And at the end of a lot of words, that's what was getting me, when I was doing all these different words. I like this one. In the late last century, like the 1990s, they started talking about outcome-based education. They're going to get everybody in school now. Little did I know that I had a good idea, but now I know clearly it's the state-of-the-art version of a communist state. It's communism, educational system, the Jewish banking communism. But so outcome-based education, and so it's like that. If that word isn't an oxymoron, what is outcome-based? Okay, so what is the outcome you're looking for? They never tell you that one, do they? It's outcome-based. It's one of these non-terms, that they keep coming up with, and they're the best at it. Give us some pablum, please. We don't want to think, and we don't want to be able to say it correctly. So anyway, that'll have to go in the dictionary too. And so we're going to go back to the reading now. And I know we started late, so technically we're only into our 2nd hour. But I'm not sure yet if we're going to be able to finish everything. And share screen. Okay, sharing. All right, and good to share. And now I got to pull up my Word. All right, here we go. Continuing, and I think you're up on the screen now, Ninja, right?
Yes.
All right. So election 4, the nativity, or the Naltave Tre of Yeshua, or commonly known as Jesus, born in a cave, Kava. Now, the birth of Yeshua, the mother Leah, or light, and the Moeshiach, Messiah, was like this. So he's known as the mother light. Okay, so Yeshua represents the love of the the feminine. And when we talk about the word Aisha was corrupted into the word Issa. Issa means woman. So right out the gate, when he becomes the first maid of all things, he is both male and female. He looks like a male to us in character, but the fact that he is an Aisha, a royal eye, then goes back to the sun as well. The sun being feminine, the virgin light. So there's all these metaphysics that are going on that are never talked about, and it's important to mention it so that people get a better picture of what is being expounded upon here, and therefore I can talk about it. So it then occurred at that time that an edict went out from Caesar Augustus that all of the empire should be taxed by head count. So all of the people, the faithful of Syria, that's Asharea, lined up to be taxed, everyone into his own place of nativity, while it was near the beginning of winter. So Voleshafe. And see here, right here, it makes it clear that it wasn't in the dead of winter, right? It was just prior, or it was the beginning of winter, which fits with the time of the Feast of Booths, which was around September, October. Okay, and so not dead winter, December 25th, you know. So Voleshafe, Joseph, along with Metzorem, Mary, made the climb from Galilee, leaving the community of the Nazareth for Judah, for the home of Tavat, David, that is, calleth Bethlehem or Vathlehem, because they were both from the home and lineage of David, Tavat. I should have included Tavat there. Okay, Tava, the second T is silent. Okay, going there, and by the way, this idea represents the son. David being a corruption, there is no D. Remember, we talked enough about it. There's no I. We talked about that. But so the D replaced the T. T is symbol of creation, symbol of the four directions. There's your Ava. There's your mother right there, the Ava. So David's got the mother right in the center. And on each side, we got a big cross and a little cross, big and small, for the duality. And the kymatica of, you know, the greatest as that which is the least as that which is the greatest. And it's Tava, one sound, one silent. You know, see, you got all of that in there. And so what David is really representing is life. When it says being seated on the throne of David, well, what is the throne of David? The Tavat, it is the sun throne. You see, not down here on some literal throne in, you know, the geographic location of Jerusalem, you know. And so nobody gets this. I've never heard anybody mention this, and this is what it is. It's the symbol of life. David represents, in the idea of Tavat, Ava, life. Of course, there's your sound wave again. Ava, 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 Ava. The V, because the V makes an A. The V makes an A, right? Okay, let's look at that. V, V, V. So there's your V, there's your A, there's your V, there's your A. So male, female, male, female, male, female, we could say in that kymatica as well. So going there to be taxed with his espoused wife, which is Vefe, who was now, means the way of the Fae, the way of the woman is the way of the Fae, who was now expecting a Vave, a baby, any day. So it was at this time while they were there, her time was up, that she shouldeth bring forth the seed or the seat, which is more correctly because we got that D there. And it could also be spelt as the Zay, Z-A-Y, also correct. So she brought forth her firstborn, youth, in a cave, keva, and wrapped him in the wadding cloth specifically made for lanterns, and placed him in the feeding trough for all avatre, for all veta life. So being put in the manger is symbolic of all creation will be feeding from him, or in fact are feeding from him, because he is the light, he represents the light, and he is the light. And so every day all of creation is feeding from him. Do you get it? I hope so. This is where, you know, reading our shultres, our scriptures, it is so deep because the symbolism is popping out at us. It's shouting, and it's all been smashed. It's all been altered on the sacred altar of deception. Continuing. This was because all of the, let me fix that. This was because all of the homes were already filled with guests. Then to their astonishment, and by the way, there was no inn back then. That's another corruption. They stayed in other people's houses. There was no inn. Okay? they would stay in another's home and pay them. That's how it worked back then. And I've got several books on the ancient customs, okay, that I've read, and it's clear. There's more, and they even kept their animals in the home. Okay, the animals were kept in the home. They had a room dedicated for them. It was must have been quite a mess back then, but that's how they did it. You know, the poor people, they had it. Some were more fortunate, some were less fortunate. You know, this was because all of the homes were already filled with guests. Then, to their astonishment, the cave was filled with many flickering lamps, as bright as the sun at high noon. Now there were within this same cave. Notice that the word, see, this is the name of our mother, Keva. There's the original word for cave, silent T, the T for the navigation, right, and for Yeshua. But Kava is cave. And so Keva is the original word for Eve. You see the Ava is in here. It could be Kava. We could take out the AY like that, right? Delete that. And you got Kava. You see there's Ava, not Eva, but Ava, right? So it's Kava, cave, but I know that it's got the AY because this is also the key. It's the key and it's the eye. What is a cave? It's an eye. It's an opening that you go into. You see? So all of these other elements are there. That's why it's still the same word. You know, there's variables. You can spell it different ways, and it's still the same word. But I go for the most pure and complete. That's the idea. You know? Okay, so now there were within this same cave, an ox, a horse, an ass, and a ram. While beneath the feeding trough, why is it true? Because it's straight. It's a trough, and it's true because it goes in one straight line, and that's called true, right? And that's what he is. And beneath the feeding trough was a cat who just had kittens. And there was a dove, a tav. Okay, it's not a dove, it's a tav. It could also possibly be with an A, tava. You know, it's the end of the tav is the end of the alphabet, and so it represents what happens at the end. The dove of peace, the symbol of peace, the tav comes. Here it is, the star. There's your star, the AV, first letter of the alphabet. Then the second is the V, the woman. The A gave power to the V for creation, the virgin light. That's why they put the V on all the soul dyers, the military, so they would go die with their V. Okay, and there was a tav overhead. Hat is the original word for head, and each one had its own mate after its own kind, and the male with the female, except for the ass. Of course, an ass cannot give life. Okay, this is how it occurred that he was born in the center of these animals, and that he also came to redeem from their sufferings these animals, because mankind abuses them, right? Through the redemption of Eshan, through our redemption from their own ignorance and selfishness. As the eye, he came for redeeming them from their sufferings as well, through the pure revelations for the seed of the sons and daughters made by the great Zul of Haim, Elohim. Our mother star in the eye, the A of the return. Now there was in this area Levitical, shepherds. That's Ashaph, hearers. Shepherd is a corruption of, or an abbreviation of Ashaph, hearers. So you can see the A is primary for the eye, for looking. They're always looking, right? The Shaph is like a mine shaft, but it's a stick, right? They're holding the shepherd's staff, the shaft, and then the hearers, because they're listening. They're listening for the wolf. They're listening for their little lambs that they're lost. So they're the shaft hearers, original thought, still remaining in the field, maintaining a watch over the perfect flock. Because why? They were dedicated to the temple sacrifice throughout the night. So this particular group of Ashaf hearers or shepherds were tending a flock that was perfect, not a regular flock, but a flock that was dedicated to the temple sacrifice. You get the picture? And then they're going to be told to go see the perfect sacrifice right nearby. Now, and nobody tells us that, right? You didn't hear that anywhere else. But I learned it from, reading about the ancient customs and what have you, lost writings. Now, when these arrived in the field, they were surprised by the true royal Malakeh, the Gavriel, the Gavrezul, the breather and pure giver of light, Yeshua. Who walked over to them, and the all-lumination of the mother star in the eye, the A of the return, shone all around them, so that these Levitical Ashaf hearers became terrified. So the Gabriel, the Gabrezul, breathes before them, do not be afraid. Behold, which means you must see and read it for yourself. And I hope one day that you can, ladies and gentlemen, because this will be short-lived. I bring for you the most excellent, let me silent T on that, report, the excellent report about the greatest of all enlightenments that will be for all the faithful of the royal eyes, the Ashan. So here it's talking about all of what we call mankind. He's calling them all royal eyes. All have the ability to see. All have the ability to take the blinders off and see what they have never seen before, see what they have never even considered, and blow their mind. Since for you there is born this Zeh, this Dayel, this day, in the home of Tavat, David, a soul navigator, Savior, who is the anointeth, Moeshe Yach, Messiah, the only true anointeth, should be ATH. Anointeth pure, Vone, one eye, for the Yahweh, Lord, who is the great Zul of Haim. Elohim, God, with you. So I got the variables there. I make it real easy so people can see the primitive and start getting pictures and start waking up to what we have been asleep to, the meaning of words like the Zed for power, the Ul for vision, and where we don't get it here, Elohim out of Babylon, but in the original, look where we get it. We get the love right from there, which is the source of light, the H, which is the breath. The H is the breath, and the breath of what? Aiming at the many, the aiming towards all of creation, the many, plural, original for ing. Elohim with you. Now this will be the sign that will allow you to perfectly identify him. You will find the Vave in a kava, and all wrapped in the wadding cloth for the lights, meaning the oil lamps, right? It's the oil lamp clothing. Why did they mention it? Because he is the great light. He is the great light. All of the light comes from him on earth, everything. Lying quietly in a feeding trough for all of Avetre Veta life. And we'll give that stinking I a Y. The eye is the blind, ladies and gentlemen. It's the code of all the codes, really, in many ways. I'm sure your head is spinning by now, but hang in there. You'll have to vomit out all the garbage they fed you all your life, but you can be enlightened by this is the beginning of an opening, ladies and gentlemen, to greater connection with the one. That's what it's all about. This may be my last chapter here. I may have to call it, and we'll just pick it up maybe on Wednesday. I think we'll point towards Wednesday to pick it up, okay? I can feel it right now. So when all of a sudden there was standing there with the royal Malakeh, the royal messenger eye, an innumerable number of the only true stars, raising up the great Zulafhaim, Elohim, now with us by breathing. The glowing rays of all light belong to the great Zulafhaim, now with us at high noon, bringing the shalom of peace and a perfect will for all Ashan, the royal eyes of creation. It then occurred as the royal Malakeh messengers departed from them, back up to the sky, the shepherds, the Ashaf hearers, breathe one to another. Let's go immediately to the villa of Bethlehem, and witness this event that has now occurred, what our Yahweh Lord, who is the great Zulafhaim Elohim with us, has revealed for us. So they went quickly, and they found Metzarem, Mary, and Vole Shaphe, Joseph, in the Keva, and the Vave, laying in the feeding trough, wrapped in the wadding cloth for the lights, for all Avatre Veta Life, L-A-M-P. I say lights earlier, so here I'm going to say lamps. It's still a light, doesn't change anything, but it gives a clearer picture, and that's what we need to do, is get the picture. He is the source for all light. You light a lamp, and that's Yeshua, okay? Everything is Yeshua, except the void of darkness, because nothing is there. Nothing is there. So upon observing this long-awaited event, they all planned to spread abroad, to announce far and wide about this visitation they had, and all about the things that they were told in regard to this youth. And everyone who heard about this was filled with the greatest hope for the one, the one eye, by those things revealed to them by the Ashaf hearers. But in contrast, there's the word kon, which is a corrupt, they corrupted into con. It's the word kon. It came to me through this document as I was doing it. It's like, wow, how did I not see that? But it takes a long process to get it, because what is a kon doing? Like, what they call the